The only race you should be running is the race against yourself. Don't look for validation from other people. You have to validate yourself. You have to challenge yourself to win against yourself. And this is the model I live by, and I want you to live by as well, because when you do it this way, there's no losing. There's only winning. There's only improvements. And you won't ever let yourself down, because when you put your own self-value by validating and comparing yourself to other people, winning or losing with other people can control you. And this is a dangerous thing. Right now with social media, it's so easy to get caught up in the mix. All right. So like when you see other people on Instagram doing freaking well, look at this 22-year-old guy flying in private jets, making a fucking $1 million every month. Man, I'm already too old. It's already too late. It's too late. I can't do it. Or, wow, look at this person. He's already got 30 businesses going. And he's only 30 years old. Damn. That's like a business every year since he was a baby. I actually have a friend who, since he was 3 years old, he was a toddler. He was given $300,000 every year as an inheritance. Every single year. So by the time he graduated, I think he had like 6 million or so in his account. Maybe even more, because of his account actually was an investment. So I wouldn't be surprised if he had 10 million by the time he got out, right? Not only that, he had a company that he started with his buddy. He only started it with $6,000, but he makes $600,000 a year on this business. Not only that, his family members bought all this property that he manages, and he's like, here, you inherit this, and he makes $50,000 a month on just these retail properties. So he's got it made, right? So I can sit here and be like, you motherfucker, you got it made, you this and that, right? And I can be jealous about it, or I can learn from him. I can be like, dude, your dad is a genius. Teach me. How did he do this? And I'll figure out my own path. And we're just in different stages. The way I see it is, I'm his dad's stage. The person that's going to come up, his dad is basically who I'm going to be. And then my son is going to be who my friend is, right? So you got to look at it in that situation where generationally, it's not fair. Like, we have privileged people in this country who are generationally rich. Like, it's because their great-great-great-grandpa created a bank or whatever it is. He worked his ass off. He created a trust. And then now, 10 generations down or whatever it is, they're all still benefiting from the hard work of great-great-great-grandpa or whatever, right? And in our situation, we can either be like, well, fuck, man, I'm not born that way, so I'm never going to be successful. Or we could look at it like, I'm going to be inspired by great-great-great-grandpa, and I'm going to create a legacy for my freaking trust fund baby ass, spoiled ass fucking kids that are going to have to find themselves every year in Hawaii because they don't know what the fuck to do with their lives. That's what I want to be, right? So when you compare yourself with people that are at a different chapter, let's say you're on chapter 5 in life and you're looking at someone at chapter 25, that's unfair to you. That's like comparing yourself to an athlete that's a pro. You're out here playing like pickup basketball and you're just like, I'll never fucking make it. Obviously, that guy's way older than you and been practicing way more hours than you. How are you going to compare yourself to that athlete? You're not even at the same level. And we do this all the freaking time. I see people going out singing and they're like, oh, I'm not good enough. Do you even practice? Of course you're not good enough. Quit comparing yourself to Beyonce. Shit. I'm the opposite. I think I'm too good. I'm in the shower. I'm like, I don't understand what I don't have a fucking record deal yet. I don't understand what no one discovers me yet. But that's because I think I'm better than I was last time. And I want you to start thinking and living life with this level of confidence, because if you only race against yourself, the only way you go is up. Because the more you practice, you're just going to be better than you were a year ago. And you're going to be happy with your results. And I'm not talking about get to a place of you're lazy and you're satisfied and you have low standards. I'm not even talking about that. What I'm saying is you have to be able to celebrate your wins while you keep pushing yourself forward And everyone has their time and everyone has their point when they become successful. Like J.K. Rowling. She didn't release and publish Harry Potter until she was 36 years old. I'm 35 years old, okay? So I can literally say I'm way more successful than J.K. Rowling until I was 35. 36, I don't know. After that, I don't know when Harry Potter came up, but from that point on, she fucking skyrocketed, right? And if I were to compare myself, I'm more successful than her. But it doesn't freaking matter because everyone has their own time. Stan Lee of Marvel Comics, he didn't publish his first comic until he was 39 years old, almost 40. A lot of people would have given up. A lot of people think the best time to make it or break it is in your 20s. And if you don't make it then good fucking luck because you're just not going to ever have a chance ever again. But that's bullshit. And I want you to remember that I was once in college and I remember thinking this shit. I remember thinking, oh, I'm getting fucking old. I'm going to be 22 tomorrow. I'm so old. And I didn't do anything with my life. And I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? I remember thinking that shit. And you're just never freaking too late. Because if you never ever start, then you just live life with full of regrets. You got to start somewhere at some given time, right? At some point, you got to start somewhere. One of my favorite restaurants out there is KFC. And the good old Colonel, he didn't even go out there and make it until 60 years old. Because I think for him, he realized, oh shit, I can't retire with this level of money. I need to do something crazy because this isn't enough for me to retire on. So he was working all of his life, but he realized he had to do something bigger and better. So he went out there and he was trying to license his fried chicken recipe, and he hustled every single day in that white suit. And he made it when he was 60 years old. Can you believe it? Can you imagine living a whole lifetime and then most people are getting ready to retire at 60 something. And he's starting a whole new career. I am guilty of this too, because I recently spoke to my dad, and when we had lunch, he was like, you know what? You sound like you're talking like you're a has-been. Why are you doing that? You already accomplished so much in so little time. And I'm like, well, I don't feel like a has-been. He goes, well, but the way you tell your stories, it sounds like your heyday is over. But I think it just begun. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm 35 years old, right? Like, I'm already like too old for like entertainment or whatever. And he goes, what? Are you fucking crazy? He goes, check this out. I started my music career when I was your age. And I was like, what? He was like, I came to America and I started my music company. He was one of the first Asian Americans to sing opera and to be apprenticed to a pretty famous, I guess, music composer or director at USC. And he was on TV. He was doing all this shit. He was making waves, right? He was a part of the Phantom of the Opera play. It was a pretty big deal. And he told me that when he first stepped foot off the plane, he just got started at 35 years old. And he's like, you already did so much already. And I just got started at 35. So he's like, you have a lot more to go. And this is just the beginning. And I was like, whoa, you really put into perspective for me. I think being on YouTube, I'm surrounded by so many 20-year-olds, you know, and I forget. So I'm guilty of this too. But I have to remind myself that it's not about the people around me to gauge where I'm at. It's about me and where I'm at. And for you too, wherever you're at any given time, in place in your life, some people can come up in a couple of years. And you can be 40-something, 30-something, 20-something. It doesn't matter. Just race against yourself and find that validation within yourself. And find out what it means to win for yourself. And you keep winning in your own lane. If you've compared yourself to people in the past, or how you gauge your value out there, right? Like, do you say, well, all of the people I'm comparing myself to are influencers with a following of 1 million or whatever, right? You need to quit that shit. And I want you to write down why you will no longer compare yourself to them and compare yourself to you. So if you tell yourself, okay, I have a following of about 5,000 people on Instagram. Now, my goal is to grow that by double by next year. So you have 10,000 by next year. And then the year after that, you go double again, 20,000. And then from 20,000, you go to 40, 40 to 80, from 80 to 160. And you start jumping every year, double, double, double. And then you stay in your own lane, focus on your goal, and don't look at the people around you. You're going to win at life. And you're not going to go around always searching to try to stop somebody down so you feel better, or try to look at other people and feel bad because you're not good enough yet. All I want you to do is figure out what are those numbers for you to feel validated within your own self, and how do you race your own self. This is the place that we need to get to.